Thank you, Chair, and can I welcome the Minister to the House. And as a person who's involved in the industry, it's hard to take what I've heard in here today, and it's even more hard to take what was said in the Dáil chamber on Wednesday night. The Minister said, and other speakers have said, COVID isn't fair. COVID discriminates, nobody's disputing that. COVID has a greater impact on certain sectors of society than on others. Nobody's arguing that. And we've all seen discrepancies right through this process. The way we've asked the elderly at the start of this process to stay at home and not go out was frightening to them at the time. I suppose the people who have been affected most has been the youth. But all I can say to the youth is, you probably have a bit longer to recover from it than the rest of us. And that's maybe a positive. But they indeed have had taken the blunt of this. And even with the reopening of the indoor hospital, they are the ones again that are at the blunt of this because they're not vaccinated. Like we've asked Leaving Cert students to go back before other students. University students haven't been able to attend college. So right through this whole process, there's been discrepancies, there's been inconsistencies and everything. But that's what we had to do in relation to dealing with this crisis. But moving to the opening of my industry, and the industry that people are making accusations about in the Dáil chamber, and was disappointing, what one senator I think claimed, widespread wholesale, what was it again, non-compliance with the regulation, I think is hurtful and disappointing. We're an industry that we're trying to open up of over 13,000 premises and probably 150,000 employees who haven't had the opportunity to work properly in over 18 months. And there is complications in it, and there is issues that we will have to deal with. But when we opened indoor dining last year, we had our paper and pen, we took the names, we took the numbers on everybody who came in. So we can deal with this. But all I can ask is for the public themselves to make their own decisions. And if they're not happy with a premises that they don't want to go into, nobody is forcing them into that property. And they can turn around and walk out the door. Before I go on to my last point, can I thank everybody involved, the Minister and everybody else who's got us to where we are today. But a special thanks to all the frontline workers and the emergency workers who went out and served this country in the middle of the pandemic, and say thank you to them, because we were discriminating against them as well. While we sat at home safe, we put them at risk. So there's risk throughout all of this. But my final point that I want to focus in on is what was said in the Dáil on Wednesday night. And I'm not too sure of the process that has to be taken, but I will ask the Cathaoirleach later on, what can I do? Of the misleading and false information that was put on the floor of the lower house on Wednesday night by Deputy Paul Murphy. And he quoted, "In November, the Middle Road was bowing to the pressures of the lobbyists to open hospitality in December and caused the deaths of more than 1,000 people in January and more than 1,000 people in February." And I have had a problem with this since last December, where our hospitality sector were blamed for the outbreak in January. But there is no evidence of that. Where is Deputy Murphy's evidence that the hospitality sector caused 1,000 deaths in January and 1,000 deaths in February? And I need to call it out. And I'm disappointed with our national radio when our own Taoiseach went on and tried to say it wasn't just hospitality, it was the wider society led to the deaths. And we all know, everyone in here knows, of the house parties that were going on at Christmas time and on New Year's Eve. The hospitality only opened up for 10 days leading into that period. So I will ask that the record of the House be corrected in relation to that. And that's the opposition. They're playing every side. They're playing every angle you can. But you're playing with our industry. You're playing with people's jobs. and you're playing with people's livelihoods. So I ask you to reflect when you make those outlandish statements around the hospitality sector. We will do our best. We have a safety charter in place, and we've had it in. The hotel industry has been open since the 2nd of June, and the young people are working in that sector. And Dr. Tony Holohan, quote him when he says, the young people are a low risk in this sector. So don't be selective when you pick Tony Holohan and his remarks. Sorry, Colin.
Senator Keoghan, I stopped others from interrupting you, Senator Keoghan. Senator Casey, I might just say that what's said in the other chamber is a matter for the other chamber. Thank you very much. But